Hello, our snacky citizens. Welcome
Thank you,
back.
citizens.
But really, I think it's more of like you saying welcome back to us. We have been gone for a while.
We have been. It's been a minute.
It has been a hot minute, and we do apologize, and we very much thank you for your patience. We have been, life has been happening.
Yeah, life happens to the best of us.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we're still even missing one tonight.
Exactly.
He's out on a romantic date night with his girlfriend.
It just so happened that all three of us had dates today that we were on with our significant others.
It is true.
Yeah, it's very true.
It
is quite the coincidence.
When he comes back and listens to this, we've got this great piece of marriage advice for Jackie and for anyone else out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember that after marriage, your date nights get shorter.
They very much do. That is a very true thing. Oh, goodness gracious.
Bit of humor, but also a bit of romantic advice is, marriage advice is, we joke about that, but one thing you do got to do is never actually stop pursuing your spouse.
Oh, yeah.
Would you agree?
I would very much agree.
Yeah, you never really stop the dating process. You always got to keep that spark going.
Exactly, because part of the pursuit is trying to learn about each other, right? And
yeah, exactly.
Since over time people change, your spouse or significant other, your husband or wife is going to change throughout your marriage time. It's not like they stop changing right after you say I do. So in a way, that's almost justification for the continuance of the pursuit.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go.
I think it was a preacher that one time said that he was married to 7 different women. He said he married the fiery, ambitious 20-year-old, and then she turned into the stay-at-home mom, and then she turned into the retail clerk. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically was going off of that same thing where your spouse changes over the years, and so it's a new experience, and you just got to learn to love and roll with it and keep pursuing her.
Yeah, that is it. Never stop running. Towards her, not away from her.
Yeah. Run to each other and to God, not not the other way.
Run. Okay.
That was a complete offshoot of what we had meant to open up and start talking about.
Yeah,
it's a random rabbit hole.
Here's a good segue. So you change because you go through. You're essentially going through life together, right?
Yeah.
And things will happen in life that will change you. That will, affect you heavily.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
yes.
So we're kind of jumping back to our intro. Part of the reason why we've been gone for so long is, I lost my father-in-law. My wife's father passed away a month ago, and it's been a interesting journey, an interesting challenge trying to, sort through all of that, all the emotions and things that go with that, but also the material things like insurances and bills and what to do with his apartment and all his stuff, and it's been a challenge, but it has drawn the two of us closer together and closer to God in this time, and it's been good in that aspect because we as believers and Christians, we've got that hope of knowing where he's at and what he's doing, that we said that he's dancing with Jesus right now and having a good time. He's got a new body and a new life up in heaven, and we got the hope that we get to see him again, and so it's been okay. We've been doing okay.
That is something that as I will take a personal witness to, is that you and Faith, JT, have all been so strong throughout this whole thing, and I really want to say that I've I admire you guys for that. And yeah, y'all have also been genuine as well. I will say that because you guys aren't brushing it under the rug. You aren't putting up a face or a mask. Like you guys are being real with it because it is real.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, it's something that I admire you guys about, and I'm so glad that God has given y'all the ability to be that way, and um, yeah, I know that that's gonna only strengthen you guys' relationship with each other and with all of us as you go forward. But yeah,
Yes, sir. Thank
I
you.
want, yeah, no problem. I just wanted to get that out there.
Man,
Yeah,
good, good, good. But I know that, besides all of that happening, I know, Drayden, you've been killing it at school and at work,
pretty much. Goodness gracious.
getting things done.
Yeah, I had somewhat of midterms the past 2 weeks.
Ooh,
Um,
fun.
yeah, it's not like an official midterm, like it's not called a midterm, but I had like a quiz in one class, and then like a take-home quiz, and then um, and uh, a sort of a paper for another class. So that's been fun, and then I've started applying for jobs for the next year after I'm done with school, so that's been very exciting.
Exciting.
Yeah, I will not say where I'm applying to because I don't want to. I just want to be careful about what I say and
Yeah,
things
no
like that.
spoilers.
But no spoilers. Spoilers, darling. Um, but yeah. So um, yeah, I've only found one place to apply to so far. Prayers would be appreciated to find more places to apply to because I'm even though I feel very at peace with where I've applied to so far, and it it has the potential of being God's will where He wants me to go.
Sweet.
I really want to make sure. So I want to try and at least find some other places and look for some other places and
I like
yeah
it.
to confirm that. But yeah, and then other than that, it's just been at work. It's been crazy. We at my job, they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel to see who wants to do like accounting for the store,
Oh.
and that like they've already had two people drop out because they just couldn't handle it, and so um, I've yeah, I'm debating because I really want to help out, and I feel bad because they've asked me to do it, but I said no because I'm still trying to figure out my rhythm with school.
Right.
I can only do so much, but at the same time, I feel like I'm the next logical choice, I guess. Um, so yeah, but at the same time, I want to be able to help out, but I don't want to. The way that my store is that from the past is that I know that once I get there, they're not going to try and find more people because once they have the way my store operates in an annoying way is that they once they find the bare minimum that they need, they stop there.
Yeah, they just stop. Mm.
Yeah, and so
All too
it's
familiar.
yeah, exactly. So I don't want to paint myself into a corner, and
Yeah.
so I I don't want to get stuck doing that. I'm very much happy with where I am.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
don't. Um,
plus that field of work and where I'm working right now is not really the place that I want to. That's not where my ambition is, and thus I don't really have much motivation to climb the ranks here. It's not until I get my career job soon.
I hear that.
Yep. But that's all that's been going on for me. Yeah, we I was telling JT before we started recording, so tomorrow is me and my wife's first year anniversary.
Whoop, whoop.
So it's flown by like crazy. But yeah, we
So exciting.
She works tomorrow, so we both had today off, so we spent the day together today. So that was fun.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it was really cool. Like I gotta take a minute to talk about this one store that we found. So
Sure.
we found a bookstore, right? And uh, when you first go in, it seems like a pretty small bookstore because uh, they've got their novels in one place, they've got their reference books in another, and they've got these other books, categorized by other genres and stuff.
Right.
But what's also cool is that they actually buy, like they can buy books and textbooks from you. So like
Yeah.
if you bring in textbooks, they give you cash. But then if you bring normal books, you can get cash or you can get store credit. And that gives you an even more discounted price on the books there at the store.
That's
Um,
pretty nice.
yeah, it's really cool. But what we started looking through, we spent like a good maybe 10 minutes looking at the main part of it, and then we go through the door and there's a whole new room full of all these books,
Oh,
and,
that's cool.
and we're like, what the crap? And then we look to our left and there's this huge like archway that they've made like paper mache into this like to look like a stone built arch that leads into this other room, and that's all filled with
Secret
books.
tunnel.
Yes. And that place was like kind of like the kids section. So they had this big tree that they've made with a little, cubby almost where a kid could like, chill inside the tree and
That's
read.
so cool.
And then we went around and there's a staircase leading down, and that was where they had the sci-fi and fiction, or sorry, not sci-fi fiction, sci-fi and fantasy books. And so
Ooh.
it like led down into like a basement where it was like a low ceiling kind of hallway, and the walls are just lined with all these really really like I'm talking like 70s 80s sci-fi and fantasy. Like this
That's
is like
awesome.
the good old stuff.
The
Like
good stuff.
yeah, so like all the like Orson Scott Card and Brandon Sanderson, even though he's like newer, but um then you had like the Star Wars books, the Star Trek books, all these other like Arthurian spin-offs and stuff like that. It
That's
was
so cool.
so awesome. Oh
That's
my
so
god.
cool.
Yeah, it that store just it seemed to keep going and going and going. It was so awesome.
That's
But
so cool.
yep. So I found a few books that I want to try and get. So we'll see what happens. And Joy's been trying to get rid of her textbooks. So when we found out about the fact that they buy them, we're like, oh well, there you go. That's questions
Good
answered.
place to go.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Talking about reading, I'm trying to finish Count of Monte Cristo because I just received for my birthday money I used to buy Dune, and so
Yeah.
I want to try and read that before I go see the movie.
For the movie, yeah.
And the movie like comes out in like I don't know 10 days. I don't
Yeah,
less than
say
10
like
days.
next week is the 22nd, isn't it?
I think so. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Oh boy, but I don't know. I really want to read the book before I see the movie, but at the same time, I don't want to wait to see the movie
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean.
more than I have to. So, yeah. So it's been a kind of a boogity kind of reading sprint that I've been doing.
Boogity
Um,
boogity boogity. There he goes, and he ain't wearing no clothes. They
Don't
call
look,
him the
Ethel.
street.
It was too late. She done got mooned.
I'm so glad you know what I'm referring to.
Dude, man, that's I grew up on that stuff. Okay. Ooh, booyah. Okay, so nice transition. I was planning on telling us RVA stories. So this is a great transition. If y'all didn't know the song that we were referencing, it's called "The Streak," and it's about a person who streaks. And for the younger folks, if you don't know what streaking is that means running around with no clothes on.
Yep.
Um, so running around butt naked. Um, so that was actually kind of a sort of as a quasi pastime at my boarding school.
Say what?
Yeah, it was a semi regular activity to streak, but of course you wouldn't do it in public because you would get caught and expelled. Um,
Okay.
but if since the atmosphere and the altitude that we were at and um, just the environment, the kind of like I guess the what's the word, the natural placement, geographical placement that we were at the school, it gave way to a lot of foggy nights and days. And so when there
Okay.
was a heavy fog, you knew people were going to go and streak.
That's so
And
funny.
I knew probably around 15 guys that would do that. Yep. And so here's a couple of stories that happened with that. So
This is gonna be good.
I won't name any names in case they're listening.
Yeah,
um,
no names.
no names, but I know one of my friends. He was hanging out with his at that time girlfriend, and they were at one of the guard gates of the school, which had like a spotlight kind of thing at the
Sure.
place, because during late night as an upperclassman, you could only be in lit areas. Otherwise, if you're caught in the unlit area, then you get in trouble.
Ooh.
Um, and I mean like with someone of the opposite sex. If you were by yourself, then that was fine, I guess. But
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
gray areas.
true.
Potato, potato.
But uh, yeah. So he was hanging out there with his girlfriend, and soon enough, I mean, so there's a trail kind of that goes around the inside of the perimeter of the school, and we call it the guard trail because that's the trail that at each corner you have like a post that the guards kind of patrol, right?
Sure.
So that's also a famous spot, at least for night times if it's not foggy, at least at night. That's what some of the guys do. They'll streak there. So soon enough, when they're hanging out, thank goodness, God gave this guy some daredevil-like senses, but he heard just the pitter patter of running steps. Right, he heard the, and then at that moment, his reflexes kicked in, and he just like was to his girlfriend, just like get down, and he covered her, and then all of a sudden he just saw shoo shoo, and his two bodies just going right past them.
Just
They're
all in
headed
the
down.
birthday suit.
Yep, all in their birthday suit. And so
Goodness
that
gracious.
was very much of a close call.
That's so funny.
Yep, and I can only imagine the guys when they were like heading up there, like heading past them, like and seeing the girl, they were just like, oh crap, 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 crap.
Run faster, run faster, run
Yeah.
faster.
I mean, it's like now that I think about it, it's not like you can like announce ahead of time, otherwise they'll look in your direction.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it spoils your plan.
You just gotta run and just hope that no one's really paying attention.
Oh my gosh! One time, one of the upperclassmen dudes was like talking to this girl, and they're talking about streaking, and they were like, "Do the girls ever streak, at night or in the fog and whatnot?" She's like, "I'm not going to answer that question." That was the end of the conversation. So all of us were just like, "What in the crap?" Anyways, so here's another story, and it involves the dynamic duo. And again, I will not say any names, but these two guys were infamous for doing the craziest crap on campus I've ever heard or seen, because I have witnessed some of it, and it is insane. And then other times I've heard, and then they've grown into legend.
Legends.
But yes. So you have one who's he's just uh, he goes out and he just wants to do crazy stuff, right? He's
Yep.
kind of he's kind of anarchist almost. And then the other one he has some sense to him, except for the fact that if you dare him to do something, then he has a moral and natural obligation to do it.
Oh, naturally.
Um, yeah, of course. So I mean, this other guy, he was dared to eat a gallon of kimchi in an hour, and
Ooh.
he attempted it. He had gotten halfway through, ran over to the bushes and hacked it all up, and
Oh.
then came back and continued eating.
Oh goodness.
It's like he is just wow. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I
But
remember that fella.
yeah. um but yeah, so these guys had been streaking too, but they had gotten caught, and they had both had gotten demerits for it. And again, like the system I think for my school was like 3 demerits and you're suspended, I think, or expelled depending on the severity of what it was. But
Sure.
um, they had gotten demerits, 1 demerit each for this, but they were caught streaking on the roof of the cafeteria.
On the roof of the cafeteria.
On the roof of the cafeteria. This is no lie because we even asked, the faculty, and that's what they said too. So
Wow.
this is fact checked. I am not lying about this. Like yeah, that's what they got in trouble for. I can't remember whether it was in broad daylight or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but don't quote me on that. But yeah. So that was
Man,
interesting. Mm-hmm.
this guy got some guts.
Yep, 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 yep. While I'm on this subject, if it's okay with you, JT, I can continue telling. Maybe I've got like 2 more stories with them, considering this dynamic duo.
Go for it.
Okay, one time, so we had this little shop where they like sold novelties and then other like snacks stuff,
Sure.
just off of campus, and it was just within the bounds of where we could go off campus. Um, and so the little shop we call in Swahili, a shop of that kind is called a duka, and so
Okay.
the name of it was the Supa Duka, and it
Yeah.
was on the sign. It literally was SUPA Supa Duka DUKA. So
Awesome.
that was yeah, it's pretty awesome. So that one place was the one stop for anyone on campus. If they had money, they could go out there and get snacks, and you could just bring them back on campus and have snacks stored
Sure.
for you. So, but upon one visit, these 2 guys had found that they were selling adult diapers,
Oh
and
dear goodness.
yeah, exactly. So they decided to buy some, and to just I don't know experiment, play around with them. I don't know. Yeah, I again like I'm not sure. I heard that they had actually used them for a day. Um, but that's I'm less sure about that than this next instance. Um, I do know that they wore them in the dorm because I actually saw them wearing it. But and then at one point they were playing around. I don't know, just being crazy in the dorm hallway, and there's a door at the end of the hallway that leads to the dorm lounge and then further into the dorm parents' apartment.
Sure.
And so through the first door, um, well, there is that door. It exists, at least for now. So at this point, they were playing around, and one of them had gotten down on the floor of the hallway, like on his back and with his legs raised, and he was yelling out to the other guy, "Hey, wipe me. And at that moment, our dorm dad came in and through that door and just looked and saw he was just gazing at the other person laying on the floor wearing an adult diaper with his legs raised. He just said nothing and he just kind of gently closed the door and went away.
Just don't question it. Just don't
And just
question it.
kept listening. I mean,
Huh.
our dorm was kind of like the second most infamous for having just crazy things happen. Um, and it was particularly crazy that year because we had inherited the guys from Westy dorm. Because the previous 2 years they were in Westy before moving into this dorm.
Mm.
And I could go on about the dorm system that we had at our school, but anyways, it's kind of complicated. But it's that group of guys from Westy dorm they were psychotic. They like a ton of crazy things
Just
happened
straight
at
up.
Westy dorm. Like, yeah. Which leads me to my next scenario. Like a usual day at Westy with that group of guys, it was a mixed dorm, so not co-ed, but like it was freshmen and sophomores, right?
Right.
So that particular mix of freshmen and sophomores that year, which was my first year at the school, and it you would go in. Right. I don't know if I've told this before. I need to keep a record of what stories I tell because I
You
can get
really do.
lost.
You need to write a book.
I'll start now. I'll start
Right.
writing down the stories I tell. Um, so you go in. If I already tell you this, then it's fine. Second time's the charm. If you go in and ahead is stairs that lead down into the dorm parents apartment because it was kind of on a hill, so that was built that way. If you go right, it was the lounge/kitchen of the
Okay.
dorm, and the kitchen was probably like in shambles from so many pots where people would cook ramen because they just loved ramen for some reason there, and so
Love
and
it.
that was that's all they made. So then it also had a dartboard with very little holes in it. All the holes were on the wall around the dartboard in the wall.
Because
But
nobody
also
hit the board.
exactly, they would treat them like ninja stars instead of darts. So
That's fine.
it's only logical that it would not hit the target.
Absolutely.
But also what they would use the darts for is through the hallway of the main room part of the dorm, they would have one guy walk back and forth across the hallway on one end. On the other end was people with darts, and they would slide the darts down the hallway and see if they could stick the other guy in the foot.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And also in the lounge, you had a lot of like benches where kind of the guys who played computer games would always be playing stuff. So they'd either play like Dota or Age of Empires, Civilization, stuff like that.
Sure.
StarCraft, I think that's what it's called, StarCraft.
I couldn't.
But yeah, so they would all be playing that kind of stuff, and then you'd have ping pong table where they'd play either volley pong, which was volleyball but with a ping pong ball and table, right?
Sure.
That was always fun to watch, or they'd play strip pong, and that was a show.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then
You guys sure did a lot of stripping and streaking.
yeah, it's interesting. um, yeah, definitely.
So
Um,
no,
don't
no, no.
worry,
You
nothing
go ahead.
shady happened, but yeah, we were just free males. That's all
Yeah, I
it
was
was.
gonna say just a bunch of high school boys being high school boys.
Exactly. There you go. It was high school boys without the leash of parents.
Also true.
Yes.
Also very
And they were
true.
and who all lived together. So it wasn't like they only saw each other at school. They saw each other all the time.
Literally
So
all
they
the
got
time.
really close and really comfortable with each other.
Yeah,
Again, nothing shady happened. It was all in fun and everything. Trust me, if something shady did happen, it would be reacted with a lot of scrutiny. But
yeah.
anyway, so if you went to the left, opposite of the lounge, it was the hallway, which the hallway went straight down to the showers and toilets and bathrooms and stuff. And then on the side were the rooms, right? And it was like two people per room.
Right.
Um, so things that happened there, it's a marble floor, right? So some things that they would do was like they'd put towels underneath, like right on the the bottom crease of the door of the room doors,
Yeah.
right? And then they would pour water and soap down the hallway and have a slip and slide inside the door,
Oh,
and that was fun.
I bet that was fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. By the way, this wasn't the dorm that I was staying in. It was this dorm that I always hung out at because my dorm was kind of boring.
Oh,
Because it was at least for me, because like a lot of the guys in my dorm were either just watching something, or uh, doing homework, or going out and doing sports stuff, or um, I don't know, stuff on their own kind of stuff. It wasn't a
yeah.
lot of There wasn't a lot of hullabaloo.
You
You
wanted to
know,
be where all the hullabaloo was.
yep.
Hullabaloo.
And
I
plus,
think I.
more of the people that I knew were in the other dorm, like I knew before I came to the school.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I hung out with them. But anyways, so another thing that they do in the hallway is that they would take the mattresses off of all their beds and throw them into the hallway, and they'd all every Friday night this happened. They would always spend the Friday night all together in the hallway, and they just chill and you know have a
That'd be
ruckus, or then just sleep, like have a massive sleepover in the hallway.
That would actually be kind of fun.
Yeah, I didn't actually I wasn't there for it at the time because I mean of course I had to be in my dorm every night. So but anyways, yeah, and then I walked past. There are a few times I walked past one room in particular where one particular guy would be, and he was straight up bush kid, right? Like where his parents were working, and where he was, where he went for, back home for breaks, was
Right.
like out in the sticks, like out in the bush, the wilderness. So he was very much that, he brought it with him, and it was just part of him. It was awesome. But what he had going on a few times in his dorm when I would pass by, um, he had built a hammock in between the loft beds of the room.
That's awesome.
He'd be laying in the hammock. That's not all. He'd be laying in the hammock, and somehow he had built out of sticks, wood, and stone, a little campfire on the marble floor of his room, and
That's
and,
awesome.
and had a tea kettle brewing tea on top of it. And he just lay in the hammock and stoked the fire, and it was somehow normal.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I would do it, but
Yeah.
or
They
we
they
didn't have
so what?
the. I was gonna say we had those old wooden dorms, so that would have been
Oh
very
yeah,
very bad.
very very bad. Probably in the newer one that you stayed in.
Ah, true. Yeah, I might could have gotten away with it
That
there.
probably would have gone better. They would also like spray the floor with like they'd like spray Axe like a good bit to where it like pooled up,
Yeah.
and then they'd light it on fire and watch it, burn away and stuff. It was interesting. Um, but yeah, that was
You've got so many good stories. I'm looking forward continuing this this little segment in our show.
I will sorry, I will close with this, and I'll be very quick, I promise. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, I'm listening.
Cool. One time, one of my friends, he had woken up in the morning. It was very early in the morning. And he had gone. This is still in Westy dorm. And he was in my class, so he was a sophomore this year. Or like, this year that I'm telling the story. He went and took a shower, came back, and he was, he's in his towel and whatnot and everything, and he comes back into his room to find this stranger, like, dragging all of him and his roommate's stuff into a bag, and then trying to climb out the window, right?
Okay.
And so he instantly grabs his Bowie knife that he has and pulls it, and he's like, that not so fast, buddy. Let's go. Come on, let's stop. And so the guy, obviously he's unarmed, but and he's like, oh, okay, this guy's got a knife. So as he's leading this dude to the lounge, he's waking up all the other sophomores. They figure out, they see what's going on. They grab their knives, and they all follow into the lounge, right?
Oh boy.
And they alert the dorm dad. The dorm dad calls the police. The police come, and the police come to find this guy, with his sack, full of stolen goods, and he's on his knees with his hands on his head, surrounded by all these sophomore guys with knives pointed at him, like the Lost Boys or something.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and they actually had found out that he had actually stolen stuff out of the dorm next to them before that.
Oh wow.
But what blew our minds was how he got in there, right? I told you that he was trying to escape through the window. That was where he came from. But the thing is that all of the windows were barred.
Huh.
So he must have been heckin' flexible to get through those bars.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, there were probably like at most of a 5-inch gap between those bars.
Yeah, wow.
So it still boggles my mind that once everybody started waking up and everything, at least the freshmen were starting to wake up, and they were very, very agitated that they missed out on the action because it was only the sophomore guys.
That's so funny.
Anyways, but that's pretty much, that was the craziness of Westy dorm. Okay, I will write that down. I've talked about Westy dorm. But anyways, that was good.
Yep, more where that came from, right?
Oh yeah, there's so much more.
You got so much. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good series.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Well, we are coming to a pretty nice end of our time here. So if you're good with it, I'll go ahead and lay a little dad joke on you.
Do it, bruh.
All right. Which one of Santa's reindeer are the dinosaurs most scared of?
Oh Lord. Which ones?
Comet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, I had an idea in my mind, but for some reason I didn't think Comet. I was like, what reindeer name is named Meteor? I was totally missing it. Oh my gosh. Comet.
Comet and Cupid and something else. I don't know the song. Yeah. But anyways, well, everyone, thanks for tuning in and listening to us ramble on for a little bit. Hope you enjoyed. Got a good little laugh out of some of those stories. As always, like, follow, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. Comment below. Tell us what you want to know. Hey, that rhymed.
Hey.
That was totally unintentional.
Nice.
But seriously, let us know what you want to hear us talk about. You know, we're open. You got any questions? Let us know. Off to you, Johnny.
Yes, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. Again, our absence has also been absent from those social media sites, but please be sure to follow us and like us and subscribe to us. And again, subscribe to us here on YouTube where these episodes can be found. And make sure you want to be there for more content. I am definitely going to be ramping up some stuff to release on TikTok and Instagram soon, so
Yep.
be sure to be on the lookout for that. But otherwise, we will see y'all sometime.
Yeah. Hey, one more thing. I'm sorry. Don't forget. Share our videos, share our stuff. Get
Oh
us
yeah,
out there.
definitely spread the word.
Yeah, spread the word. Tell other people about us. We want to include more people.
Very much so.
I
Thank you
am.
guys so much.
Yep. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.